This is it. The final part of the 2021 road trip series. And a little under 24 hours to try and catch a carp from the last venue. I'm tired, the weather looks atrocious, and it's the first time I've been here, so things are stacked against us. We better get started. Welcome to part 3 of the 2021 road trip, and we have been away for a week. We fished a beautiful estate lake in the first video, and then we were on the River Avon in the second video, and I managed to catch a really special barbel, so go check out that video as well. But this is part 3. We are at Towcester Lakes, which is near Northampton. A beautiful expanse of water, and it's actually an exclusive booking venue, this one. We've been allowed down for 24 hours to do a bit of filming and stuff, but normally you book it exclusively for, I think it's up to 4 anglers for 3 days at a time, and it's about 4 acres, I think. There's 100 carp in here, and 50% of those are over £20, so there's a really good chance of a 20-pounder if you catch a few fish. And I think there's a couple that are getting close to £30 now as well, so a really good prospect. If you've got 3 days ahead of you, you've got a good chance of a decent couple of fish. Like I said, we are only doing 24 hours on this session, and it's taken us quite a long time to get everything sorted. We arrived at about kind of 11 o'clock, but it took quite a long time to kind of decide where we wanted to go, and then we're trying to find clear spots and everything. And it's actually coming up to 6 o'clock now, and we've only just really got the rods sorted, so a little behind schedule, and we've only got till kind of tomorrow early afternoon to try and make it happen, and hopefully we'll have a few fish to show you. It's a really nice place to be. It's right on the race course here. You've actually got dog racing, which you can go and enjoy if you come to the lake to fish as well. And if you don't want to do that, well, you can just hang out by the lake and enjoy that big sky. At the moment it's looking like it's just about to kick off with another storm. We've had quite a lot of rain since we've been here, but yeah, I've got my rods out. I think I'm gonna have to redo them because there's a couple of swans been having a go, but that is fishing, and every lake's the same, you know. You've got bird life to deal with everywhere you go, but yeah, I'm fairly confident that we should have a fish or two. I keep saying we, it's because I'm away with my mate Matt as well. He's been with me this whole week. We've got a night and a bit of tomorrow to make it happen, so fingers crossed we can have a few fish, guys, and I'll be showing you the tactics along the way. Right guys, we're into a fish in the middle of what can only be described as the Armageddon of storms. It's not so bad now, but about 5 minutes ago there was more rain bouncing off the lake than was landing in the lake. But we've had an absolute screaming take in the middle of all that, a couple of hours after getting the rods out, and I've got a carp on plus a load of weed. Oh, come on. Oh my God. Yeah. Right, well, would you believe it? Only been fishing a couple of hours and we've managed this stunning, dark, scaly little one, about 14, 15 pound. I'm not going to weigh it, but over the moon to be off the mark. It was in the middle of a crazy thunderstorm. The rod absolutely ripped off and I had to play it through all the weed and everything. But that's the end result. Stunning little linear, really lovely fish. I think they're all nice in here. So yeah, I'll get this one back and hopefully there's time for more, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be talking you through the tactics and everything, and hopefully there'll be a few more fish tomorrow as well. Right guys, here we are then. It's 10 to 11. Just enjoyed a nice Domino's pizza which got delivered to the lake, and my margin rod has ripped off, and we've got another lovely looking Towcester mirror, tiny bit bigger this one, maybe about 16 pound I think. Let's see if he's going to behave. There we go. Lovely looking fish, taken on the margin rods. That's 2 spots that I've got working now. I'm fishing 2 rods on one spot and 1 rod on the other spot, and both spots are produced now, so that's happy days. Hopefully we can build on that and catch a few more carp. Happy with that one. Nice looking fish. Really good condition, as they all are in here. Fairly new fish, so they're bound to be in good condition, but they're all really stunning and scaly, and they fight really well as well. So yeah, happy days. I'll take a couple of pictures, get it back, get that rod sorted, and then hopefully get a bit of sleep. Right, here we go. Another stunning scaly carp from Towcester Lakes. It's about 20 to 4 in the morning. Had an absolute screamer again on the margin rod. I'll talk you through my spots tomorrow, but yeah, beautiful looking fish, really scaly. Quite a small one again, probably, you know, sort of 10, 11 pound, but imagine this in a few years. I reckon this lake's going to be really special when these fish come on a tiny bit. And I've been a bit unlucky with sizes so far, because 50% of them are 20 pounders, and I've had 3 doubles so far, but you know, there's plenty of time yet. While we're getting a few bites, we might get lucky and get a 20 pounder, so I'll get this one back and get the rod back out, and hopefully there'll be another one before it gets light. Right then, good morning guys. 2 fish in the night, so happy with that, but I do feel like there's more fish to be had. When we woke up this morning, all the fish are sort of in the middle of the lake really. We're not seeing anything sort of in our margin spots or my other spot. I'll talk to you about the spots in a minute actually, but all the fish have been out in open water, sort of dead in the middle of the lake, and there's a lot of fish in here as well, so if you get in amongst the shoal, you know, you can have quite a few fish. So what I've decided to do is wind in one of my rods off a baited spot and put a zig out there. So I've got my marker rod and cast out to sort of where the fish were showing. found the depth, it's about 9 foot. And then I've tied up a zig, which is 7 foot, so it's kind of 2 foot under the surface. And there's a bit of a fly hatch, I think. Last night we got absolutely covered in these tiny little flies. And I think possibly the carp are feeding on that. We've seen one actually sort of with its back out of the water, cruising along the top. So they're obviously sort of in the upper layers, feeding on something out there. So I've put a zig out, a little bit of black foam with a bit of yellow foam on top at 7 foot. And I've cast it out into the middle, which was about sort of 18.5 wraps, I think, not very far, 70 yards or something. So I've now got one in the margins, one close to a weed bed on a clear spot, and one on a zig out in the middle. So we'll see what happens, guys, and in a minute I'll sort of talk to you about my tactics on the other rods and the spots I'm fishing as well. Right then, guys, so yesterday the first fish that I caught was actually on this spot over here. So you can see there's a weed bed there, and I saw a fish show a couple of times just in front of it. So that was enough to make me sort of investigate the area with the marker rod, and I actually found a pristine gravel spot just in front of that weed bed, which to me is like the perfect sort of spot really. You know, you're near the weed and the fish love the weed, but obviously you've got a clear spot so you can present really well as well. So I found that spot, wrapped it up, wrapped my rod up to the same distance. It's only sort of 3 foot, so you don't have to worry about it swinging back towards you. And then I put sort of 12 to 15 spoms of bait over it. There's a lot of fish in here, and they are hungry. They're quite new fish. So I've put sort of some of the fishery pellets and some 18mm Vitamino, some 15mm Vitamino, and some 12mm Amino Marine boilies out there. Bit of a mix. 12 spoms, and then annoyingly the swans moved in, and I sort of had to cast the spom near them to spook them off a bit. And then we had a crazy rain shower, and the swans moved back, and then unbelievably within a couple of hours of casting out, whilst the swans were feeding on my spot, I had that screaming take and I landed that first fish that you saw. So it just shows you if birds are on your spot, you can still get takes, and I was quite surprised by that, but there you go. So that spot was just a little snowman rig over the sort of boilies and pellets. And then the other rod, my right hand rod, is down the margin just off the little point here. I could see a clear spot from the bank really, looking down into the water. It's only shallow, about 3 foot deep, and there's quite a lot of weed in this lake, but a little glowing sort of clear spot like that near the margins, I just thought it looked perfect. So I've dropped a solid bag on there just in case of any weed. I walked it back to my rods along the margin, and then I've put again sort of pellets and boilie over the top, and a solid bag just with a little bit of fake corn on the hair, because I just want it to kind of sit above the bait. So I've got a bit of fake corn with a shot behind it on the hair, just so it sits above the bait as the bag breaks down, and it's a little sight bobber, just so the fish hopefully can see it and latch onto it. And that did me 2 fish in the night as well. So yeah, that spot's a good one as well. Annoyingly, the coots wiped me out on that one this morning, but yeah, I'm back fishing on that now. And then the final rod, which I was just talking about, is out in the middle of the lake. It's probably about 70 yards or so. I think it was 18.5 wraps, something like that. But just out here somewhere, we've been seeing quite a lot of fish showing this morning. So I've put that zig out there in 9 foot of water, a 7 foot zig. So yeah, we've got 3 different tactics, 3 different spots. And we're just going to keep watching the water and adapting to what happens, and hopefully we can make the most of the last few hours before we've got to go home. So I'll keep you posted, and yeah, if anything happens I'll obviously show you. Right guys, I wasn't expecting this. I've actually just caught a really small tench on my middle rod, and then my right hand rod's pulled up tight, and I've got this one. Must be about £5 or something. And I didn't even know there was any tench in here, and I'm not sure if Luke, the owner, knew there was any in here, but yeah, that's a lovely fish. Totally unexpected, really old character, really withered fins and everything. It's obviously been in here for a long time, just feeding on naturals and stuff. And yeah, quite a nice change from catching a few carp, but we've got to get the rods back out and hopefully get back to the target species. Right then, we have very nearly come to the end of our time here at Towcester Lakes. It's been a lovely short session. We've only really done less than 24 hours here, but I've managed 3 nice carp, really lovely scaly ones, and a tench as well. So not a bad session for a short session. And I imagine if you do come for the longer sessions, you know, the 72 hours that you normally book on here, you could have quite a good few fish, I imagine, once you get the spots going and everything. It's quite weedy, but if you find the clear spots and put a bit of bait on them, the fish do get on it. And yeah, it seems to be better in the evening and overnight than in the daytime. We've not really had anything today. We tried the zigs. You know, I've sort of topped up my spots and refreshed the rigs and everything, and still nothing's really happened today. But yesterday, sort of afternoon and evening was when all my bites were, so perhaps that's bite time on here, who knows. It's a funny time of year really for carp fishing. There's a lot of naturals in the lake. The carp aren't particularly hungry because they're just lethargic. It's so hot, they're just cruising around. Even though we've had overcast, dull and drizzly conditions, which have been good for fishing, it's still not really produced lots and lots of fish. But I'm really happy with 3 fish in such a short session. So I'm hoping to come back if Luke will have me one time. And it'd be nice to see this fishery as it matures over the next couple of years. I know Luke is putting a lot of work into building the swims at the moment and making the lake as accessible as possible. We're building the new track down to the lake. It's all off to fenced as well, so he's putting in a lot of time and effort, and he's put in some absolutely stunning fish. So check it out. I'll put the link to the website below, Towcester Lakes or Towcester Lakes, however you pronounce it. Stunning place to come, and it's exclusive as well, so you've got the lake to yourself, which is always nice, and you've got the dog racing up the road if you fancy that as well. So yeah, it's an interesting lake and real potential for the future, and it's in a couple of years time there might be some absolute monsters in here, so keep an eye on this one, and yeah, make sure you check it out. So yeah, we're coming to the end of the road trip now. We got to go get the ferry back to the Isle of Wight in a minute. So I hope you've enjoyed the 3 videos in this series. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. We've got the YouTube Bloggers Social coming up in a couple of weeks at Digger Lakes, so that should be a fun one. A few beers and a barbecue, and a few laughs with some other YouTube guys as well, so it should be an interesting one. So yeah, thanks very much for watching guys, and we'll see you next time.